Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thank you for clicking on my channel. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time here, my name is Victor Sanchez. I've been making videos about Mexico, information videos, travel videos, mostly about my construction. And what I have today is talking about whether the Mexican dream is over or not over. But I noticed that Jose Arteaga, most of you guys probably already know him. Jose Arteaga made a video a few weeks back ago, and so he beat me to the punch. So I'm gonna poke his eyes out right now because he beat me to the punch. But I'm gonna take a different twist to it. He did a lot of conversation, and I'm gonna, if you love facts and you want some data, I'm gonna be showing you guys basically some computer data that shows why you should still consider Mexico as your destination. But first of all, what the heck is Mexican dream? What is it to us? I mean, the American dream, basically, according to Britannica, it says, the American dream ideal that the United States is the land of opportunity that allows the possibility of upward mobility, freedom, and equality for people of all classes who work hard and have a will to succeed. Well, unfortunately, a lot of that American dream is not achievable. A lot of us have worked hard and can't seem to be able to realize the American dream in the United States. And a lot of people are looking into Mexico. And so trying to realize the Mexico dream is exactly these kind of things. That, well, we want mobility, freedom, and basically equality. And in some cases, we're just looking for a better life. The problem is that sometimes the Mexican dream can look like a nightmare, depending on how you see it. And that's what I want to share to you guys today. I want to show you guys some data. Sometimes we say, hey, Mexico is safe, but compared to what? We want to talk about affordability. But what really shows us, I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers, including myself, that can go over there and show you, hey, I can buy a plate with steak and eggs and stuff like that for, I don't know, $10.99. But we don't have no really data to show it, and that's why I want to actually show you guys today, based upon some information I got. I like to use an app called Numbeo. We're going to be looking on that. But a lot of the questions are happening right now. It's because the Mexican peso has dropped to the dollar. Right now, it currently is at 1708 in the month of September of 2023. And it used to be at one point, like I believe in 2020 or 2019, it used to be at 22.22. So you got 5 pesos more. And also, you know, there's been inflation in the United States and in Mexico. So there's a strong belief that, well, maybe the Mexican dream also is far-fetched. My question to you guys is that, I mean, are you looking to have the American dream in Mexico because you lost the opportunity in the United States? If that's the case, then this is probably the right video for you. If not the case, then you might just be watching me for no reason. But the Mexican dream is exactly just trying to live a better life. But for some people, it might mean a nightmare, you know, because a lot of the people are actually used to having the commodities of the United States, regardless of how comfortable you live or not. Some people, unfortunately, are looking at a move to Mexico with fear because of safety, with fear because whether you're going to miss, you know, maybe the Starbucks, and there's Starbucks, okay, but you might be able to miss some commodities. Like me, I live in California, and for those who don't know me, I've been going back and forth to Mexico. And my wish, or not my wish, but my prayers are that one day I can do back and forth to Mexico so I can see my kids and my grandkids, and then also spend time in Mexico where I really love. For people who haven't lived in Mexico at all, the idea of moving to Mexico is just, it's already a nightmare in itself. Some of my friends, you know, that are Mexicans, they say they would never step foot in Mexico because of what they hear. It's not because what they see is what they hear. Or if they see the border life, like in Mexicali or Tijuana, which is really rough, really, really rough. But today, what I basically want to do is, I can tell you guys everything about it. I've had other videos talking about safety. I've had other videos. There's a lot of videos out there that are telling you why you should move to Mexico. I mean, I think it's a blessing if you can move to Mexico and you have consensus in your family. The only one that can stop you from dreaming is basically yourself. Don't allow any other person to squash your dream. I don't think that it's right that any of us, being, let's say, on the other side, like just squashing your dream because Mexico's not ideal. It doesn't have the commodities of the United States. It's not as luxurious. Or maybe the stigma of just, in America moving to Mexico is, just second-class American or something like that. There's many thoughts of the reason why you might be fighting the idea of moving to Mexico. The idea of moving to Mexico, or when you make the decision, it should be solid ground. It should be because you thought it over. But more so than everything, you checked and balanced everything. Like I always say, it's best for you to go to Mexico and check it out. Don't let nobody tell you that you shouldn't go. But I do tell you, pick the right places. Because there is places that are unsafe in Mexico. I will not recommend Michoacan. I will not recommend some places of Guanajuato or Tamaulipas. Stuff like that, I would say stay away. But I highly recommend places like Ajijic, Chapala, San Miguel de Allende, Morelia, Merida. There's a lot of places that you can pick. Okay, so if you're a data person, you're going to probably like this. So stick around with me and let's check this out. All right. So this first slide that you're seeing here, this is, like I said, I like seeing Numbeo a lot. I like because they have the data. Their data is up to date all the way up to September. I did see it somewhere here. Right here, September 2023. And basically, they get the data from about 1,431 contributors, and in the United States, 15,279 contributors. These are people who are willing to give that information. And this gives you all the information. For example, we're going to be looking at cost of living comparison between Mexico and the United States. Even with the inflation and with the peso gaining ground on the dollar, there's still a big gain on your dollar if you're going to actually take your retirement money or even your savings into Mexico. So let's look at first this very, very first thing right here is meal and inexpensive restaurant. This is moderate place to eat. You can see the dollars are here in blue, and then the top one in black is Mexican pesos. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the dollars, but if you do happen to want to know in pesos, it's the one in black. Okay, so a meal, inexpensive restaurant, the average, according to the studies, it's $8.78. That's pretty close to what we're talking about, because I'm sometimes saying, hey, you want to eat a good meal, you're going to be paying between $10 and $11. And right here they're saying inexpensive, so it's even probably cheaper than what I've been buying. In the United States, you'll be paying about $20. Meal for two people, mid-range restaurants, it'll be $35 and then $75 in the United States. I don't think you want to know about McDonald's. How about domestic beer? For domestic beer is $2.34 in Mexico and $6. That's like a craft beer in the United States. Cappuccino, if you like your Starbucks. Coffees are pretty expensive. If you think about it, 51 pesos in Mexico is a lot of money. So only the people who can really afford it are paying $3 for coffee. And then in the United States, you're paying about $4.81. A lot of Mexicans like their Coke or Pepsi. But they're still paying for it about $1.15 for a 12 ounce. And then in the United States, you're paying $2.36. Bottled water in Mexico is costing you $83. And in the United States, an average of $1.87. Again, this is going to be different for everybody depending on where you live. Okay, so This is an average of all the studies that they've made. Right, here's a kicker. This one's expensive. Like, you see on the right side, you can see where it's minus and there's like negatives. The milk in Mexico is expensive. The gallon of milk is $5.42. To me, that's kind of insane because, or maybe because it's mostly organic. Um, I don't know. I would like to look into that, but I don't buy milk. I bought almond milk, and almonds. That what you call it, almond milks. It's expensive in Mexico, so I can see how almond milk and regular milk, and then it's $3.92 here in the States. But a loaf of bread over there in Mexico is going to cost you $2.09 and $3.23 in the United States. Let's go with some eggs. Eggs. We're here in eggs. Mexico is going to cost you $2.22. United States $4.37. I think it went down in certain places. But I can almost say, almost for sure, that the eggs are going to be organic in Mexico. How about a pound of apples? In Mexico, it's going to cost you $1.29. United States $2.40. Bananas. That's crazy. 62 cents in Mexico and 73 cents in the United States. Interesting. Oranges. I would actually think that oranges would be cheaper in the United States. There's a lot of orange fields in the United States, but oranges are only 67 to 191, so orange juice is going to be much cheaper over there. Tomatoes are 71 cents in Mexico, $2 in the United States. I'm guessing, I don't think it's the Roma. The Roma usually is cheaper than 210. The steak potatoes are usually more expensive. Regular potato, 78 cents in Mexico and United States 137. So let me see. Bottle of wine, $11.70 to $13.99. That's expensive. Transportation, if you're thinking of living in the city like Guadalajara, we're going to do a lot of comparisons to Guadalajara because that's the medium state. I'm also doing comparisons with Arizona because I don't want to pick California. It's too expensive. I believe I also checked out some places in Houston, but just trying to get the average price places to give you guys an idea. All right, so gasoline is a lot more expensive in Mexico. If you look right here, gasoline, 1 gallon, you'll see right there that's $5.08 on average. That's expensive. And then $3.79 in California. It's like almost $5. But I know my brother-in-law lives in Indiana, and he's paying like the $3.79 price, right about. Vehicles, it's crazy. Maybe because they make them in Mexico, but the Volkswagen Golf. If you're going to buy a car, that's why it's a good idea to buy it over there and not over here. If you do not take your car from the United States. It's going to cost you more expensive. It's going to be more expensive to legalize it. I think my brother was looking into a small truck, and it was going to be like $3,000 or $4,000 just to move it over in the car. The truck is only worth like $4,000. So, Volkswagen Golf, 20,000 in Mexico, and 25,000 in the United States. It's crazy. Toyota Corolla sedan. It's a little bit more equal. It's 22,000 in Mexico and 24,000 in the United States. So I'm actually glad that the prices in Mexico for the vehicles are cheaper because it's a lot harder for them to afford it. Utilities is a big deal because you might not have a car, you might not buy certain things, but utilities is something you're going to need. This is where you really make out by moving to Mexico. For basic electricity, and this is the average home, okay? In Mexico, it's going to cost you $63.45 a month compared to $189.79 in the United States. I can tell you that in Mexico, I never paid $63. I think I've paid $35 for 2 months. And I never paid $189 in California. I think maybe in the winter I paid $189, but summer we're talking about $300. You guys know. Maybe you live in a better climate area in the United States and your electric bill isn't that much. But this is average, and we're going to go with it. So mobile phone, cellular phone, cell phone, that. $24 in Mexico, $44 in the United States. And internet speed where you can get it, because some of the internet is really crappy. $30 in Mexico and $70 in the United States. I pay about $70 here for Spectrum. They got good internet. I think they got internet. And I have internet in Mexico, and I pay $15, but it's really cheap. But I don't care because I'm not there all the time. If you leave over there, you might want to get better internet because you're going to want to watch Netflix and stuff like that. Anyhow, so if you're into fitness, it's going to cost you about $34 to fitness club over there, and $45 in United States. You like to go to the movies? About $5 over there, and about $12 over here. Some of the movie theaters are nice over there, but I don't think they're as nice as here. So that might be the caveat to things. Okay, most of you guys are thinking about retirement, so you're not going to look at kindergarten or international. Jeans. Jeans are expensive over there, like a Levi's. It's $52 over there and $51 United States. Summer dress, $39. You know, I always think like the clothes is so darn expensive over there. It's always been like that since I know it. It's kind of sad. The other part where you're going to make out really, really good if you're planning to retire in Mexico is here. In a one-bedroom apartment in this hotel is city center. If you look at right here in the left corner where my mouse is, this is going to be something like Guadalajara, okay, or downtown Merida or something like that. On average, okay. For a one-bedroom apartment, you're going to find it for about $551 to rent. So if you're on limited income, you're definitely going to live better in Mexico than the United States. A one-bedroom apartment, city center, which most likely, most of the time, if you're living in retirement, you're not going to be city center. You're going to go out and somewhere far from the city because it's going to be cheaper. But city center is $1,828. So even if you go down, let's say away from the city, you're talking about what, $1,200. And here in California, you're going to find two-bedroom apartment, one-bedroom apartment for close to $2,000. So mostly Southern California, okay? Even a little bit Northern California, it's very expensive. If you want a 3 bedrooms, shush, I don't think, let me think, 3 bedrooms, $717 and about $2,400 in the United States. So the difference comes in this. The salaries in Mexico are so low. And this is the kind of like average salary, a working family, a working person. They're making about $12,000 a year working. Most people on Social Security will make about $1,000 on Social Security on average. Okay, because I know some people are making more, some people are making less, but that's about $12,000 also a year. So that kind of puts you in that range of where working people are actually making about the same. So here's some info. Right here in the cost of living index, I like to see this bar, okay? Because you can see United States, basically the cost of living index is at 74.22. Basically, the higher the number, the more expensive it is. Mexico falls in at 42. China falls into 35. But who's going to want to go to China? Well, maybe you do. Hope not. Russia, 28. France is very expensive, so Germany is at 64. So Mexico falls way below all these people, other than Russia and China. You get to choose. Let's go check something else out. So one big question is always the crime rate. And I love seeing these numbers because now we're talking about statistics and data instead of how I feel, what people say. Now, this was taken from, does it tell me how many people actually volunteered? So, in Mexico, 3,932 people volunteered to take this data. In the United States, 17,532 to the month of September. Okay, so there's a lot of data, a lot more data, or a lot more around the United States than in Mexico. But check this out. Right here in the level crime, obviously Mexico's going to be on the high side at 61.24, but it's not even that far as I thought it would be from the United States. United States is moderate at 55.08. I'm going to show some graphs later on at the bottom. Crime increasing in the past 3 years. I think this is what's hurting the United States. In the past 3 years, the crime has gone up. There's a lot of lawlessness. I really feel really bad for people who live in Washington, Portland. Um, they just allowed robberies and stuff just to happen. So in the last 3 years, it's increasing. So if you feel that it's been increasing, it's because it really has. So it's up to 67.65. In Mexico is at 68. So we're talking about 1 point difference. So worries about home being broken in or stolen in Mexico is moderate at 52. In the United States is at 46. Worries about being mugged or robbed, the index is at 57. In Mexico and 43. So it's lower in the United States. Obviously, but we know that the crime is higher in Mexico. Mostly, again, it's the cartels driving everything up. But if they didn't exist, the truth of the fact is that it's going to be safer in the United States than in Mexico. That is true. But not all areas in Mexico are unsafe. Worries about being insulted. I don't even know why this is in there, but I guess the Karens of the world have to have their place in this. So, in Mexico, there isn't that many Karens because you get punched. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's why the crime is up. That's why it's 34.67. They're not worried about being insulted. In the United States, it's 44. So they feel more they can be insulted. Worries about subject to physical attack because of your skin color, ethnicity, origin, gender, or religion. In Mexico is low. United States is low. But it's on the higher side of low. Okay, so it's at 31.95 compared to 21.92 in Mexico. There's definitely racism in every country. But I do feel like the United States is struggling to find its identity in many different ways. So the overall, you can look at this. You guys can look at this place called Numbeo. It's free. You can go and look Mexico versus the United States, the crime rate. So here you have basically the overall. Mexico stands at 67.18, and high the United States at 70.96. And on the low side, it's 39 and 44 in the moderate for the United States. That's for, safety walking alone during at night. Sorry, I misread that, guys. That is not the average here. This is for safety walking alone during the night. Take that away. Erase it. All right. Check this out. This chart did a lot for me in the sense of where does everybody fall into. Obviously, Mexico is here is at the highest part at 54.11. And then United States here at 49. 54, 49. But check this out. France, 54. Who would have thunk it, huh? Mexico, 54. France, 54. Did you think that France was that high? How about Italy, 47? You wouldn't even think. Japan, I believe that because they have a really huge honor system. And then China, they don't report anything. Russia will kill you if you... No, I'm just kidding. They deal with crime a lot different. Germany, I'm not too sure. What I was really, really surprised to see Mexico and France together in this bucket. Because you don't hear complaints about France. I mean, there's not people running away from Paris. I've been to Paris. And I can tell you this. That in Paris, it's beautiful. It's like everything. You know, they're going to take care of the main city. But as you go from the airport to Paris, you can see like the gentrification just getting there. So there you have it on that area. Let's go to quality of life. Let's go to the next one here. Again, using the same website. Let me close this up. So Mexico, here's Mexico's quality of life. Okay, I didn't do the comparison. It didn't allow me for some reason. These are the areas that they're measuring. Most of it came from Mexico City. The purchasing power is basically what people can afford. It's very low, so we know that. The safety index is moderate. Interesting. And then healthcare is high, which is... If you're looking for retirement, that's a good thing. And then climate index If your bones are hurting, it's best to be south than the north. Actually, I think just for the stress level, it's also better to be south. Cost of limit index is low. Property price of income ratio is moderate. For you that are coming from the United States, Canada. Hey, something about Canada. I just learned over at Canada. Canada, oh Canada. You guys are from Canada. I didn't know you guys' interest rates varied every 5 years. I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong, please put it in the comments. I can't imagine you buying a house and no matter what, it's a variable. Your loans are variable, so you can be at 2% and all of a sudden go up to 5%. And with the Fed interest rate going up in the United States and also in Canada, I don't know how you guys can live. I mean, Canada's beautiful, but to live there is, I don't know. You guys tell me in the comment below. Okay. Let's look at something else. Okay, so we are convinced. We want to move. Let's do it, Victor. Let's go. What are some properties looking in Guadalajara? What am I going to be paying for a decent property? I pulled this up right here. It's called Properties for Sale in Guadalajara. I didn't pull up a lot of places, but you can go Mexico City, Puerto Vallarta. I can click on it right now really quick. But for example, for a apartment in the city, 753. Let me see. How about 4 million? Oh no, that's a doctor's office. Let me see. I wanted to get a house. An apartment, here's a location right here, an apartment for 233, 850 square feet. It's kind of expensive. Let me see. That's Guadalajara. Let's try. You guys are all telling me probably, click on that one. But I don't know which one to click. I'm going to put Mexico City because definitely, well, Mexico City, oh my goodness, 1 million. This house right here for 2,690 square feet for 327. So definitely not cheap to buy a home. Let me see this one. This one doesn't look like a whole lot. But this one's 388 in Mexico City. In the city. That's kind of expensive. Okay. I pulled up Chapala, which is a place I always recommend. You can still find homes 1,041 square feet, 489. $1 million if you have $1 million. I mean, I'm just giving you guys a comparison. This one's pretty nice. 1,900 square feet for 282. 1,068 square feet for 330. This is Puerto Vallarta, by the way. These are all Puerto Vallarta. How did they get in there? Then I put Chapala. Oh, they scanned me. Well, that's even better for Puerto Vallarta. Wow, these are all Puerto Vallarta. These are nice, huh? Okay, what's this one? So this is the real estate in Phoenix. You're thinking of moving to Phoenix? Well, Phoenix, Arizona, which is a good area. $875 for this home. It's 2,000 square feet. $435. This one's pretty decent for 1,300 square feet. And the list goes on. I mean, you guys can look at the home prices as I scroll through them. 930, 899. It's Phoenix. Maybe I picked a very expensive area. I don't know. Maybe on the outskirts of Phoenix it might be cheaper. See Houston really quick. Houston has pretty good prices. This one's loading. Sorry. So Houston is $265. I think I said this before. I think Houston or Texas has probably the better home prices. Look at this home right here. I don't know the area or anything like that, but 1,700 square feet for $189. That's truly affordable to be honest with you. But what kills you is you can buy a home at $189, but like I said on the cost of living things, you're still paying a lot of stuff for your utilities, your insurance, your medical, all that kind of stuff that you have to weigh in. I pulled up this property tax kind of thing because if you're going to buy a home in any of those places, you can see where the property tax is high. Texas happens to be one of them. So you might buy a house for, let's say $200,000. You're going to pay almost 2% of that every year on a 200,000. So what is that, like close to 4,000, right over there? I think 3,800, $3,600, something like that, for just taxes. And we're not even talking about insurance at that moment. That's you owning outright. So Texas is a good place to find a home, but it's taxes are very expensive. So you have to. California, it's surprised. I think it's only 0.8. Doesn't even show up on the list. I thought taxes were bad in California, but Texas is worse. But then I think they don't have taxes is another thing. If you're from Texas, leave a comment. What do you think about the taxes in Texas? Taxes in Texas. Texas and taxes. The all-American Texas and taxes. Alright guys, this is the data I have for you guys. And let me click out of this really quick, so I don't keep recording. Alright. So obviously my friends, been a long video, but hopefully I guys showed you guys as much data for you guys to take in whether Mexico is right for you. Don't let nobody squash your dream. Don't let nobody squash your dream. Look at it for yourself. Don't let nobody tell you what they don't know. You go investigate yourself. You have to check it out. I shared the numbers with you guys. There's over 1 million Americans living in Mexico. They can't be wrong. There is a lot of people that don't like Mexico, and that's perfectly okay. But I ask you this, guys. I ask you this question. If you can barely live in the United States, why not move to Mexico if you can have a soft landing like Ajijic or Chapala, Merida, or I think it's Morelia. Not Morelia. I think that I said it earlier too. Don't go to Morelia. Morelos, I think. Or Morelos. Oh my goodness. Scratch that one off. San Miguel de Allende. Just places that you can have soft landing with a lot of English speaking people there. So, okay, my friends. Hopefully this information was useful to you. The data was useful to you guys. And maybe some of the humor. As you guys can see, in the United States, I might make another video. I am not sure. But I am thinking of taking a long break all the way up to December. So, guys, thank you so much for supporting my channel. Hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. God bless you guys. Until next time.